welcome to another episode of the Trailer Island podcast. I am your host, Alex, and I am joined by...
Matthew
and
Steve.
Yay.
We're all here.
Is this episode 8?
I was just thinking that. I think it is.
We're so close to double digits.
So
it's
close.
good. It's
Do you reckon
good.
we'll get renewed for season 2?
It's up to us, so maybe.
We hope. We hope.
Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. Yeah, another week, and we've got another streaming something,
Well, no, it wasn't
Movie?
originally a streaming film.
wasn't it?
No, it was released widely.
Oh,
this
okay.
This film came out pre-pandemic.
Ah, okay, because I was only been able to catch up with it via a streaming service, which seems to be is the only thing that's really around at the moment. But
Well, it got released middle of last year, and then
Okay.
obviously had a re-release around Academy Awards time. What movie am I talking about right
Yeah,
now?
we're really sort of teasing people with the film for this week, aren't we?
it's our first foreign film. Would you say that?
I'd say all films we've done so far have been foreign because we're
Wasn't
on an island,
Eurovision a
aren't we?
foreign film?
Which one?
Wasn't Eurovision a foreign film?
No, I mean none of them have been made in Australia.
Well, it's our first non-English film. How about that?
Yeah,
Would
I'll
does
pay
that work for you?
Yeah, I'll pay that.
All right, Steve, because you seem to be so cherry tomato happy about this one, you can introduce it.
We are talking about Bong Joon-ho's Parasite.
부모님 얼굴도 뵙고 좋더라 건강들 하시고 일거리가 없으셔도 네가 내 대신 얘 과외 선생님 좀 해줘라 영어 대학생인 척하라는 거야? 구라를 좀 치지 뭐
제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김치모 그는 이사촌 부자인데 착하다니까 진짜 니가 착한 거지
I'm deadly serious.
근데 지금 진짜로 이상한 게 뭔 것 같아.
So that was the trailer for the film Parasite.
Yes, and if you couldn't guess from the trailer you just heard there, it's a South Korean film, so they're all speaking Korean. So you probably don't understand anything that's going on in that without being able to see the subtitles, unless you speak Korean, of course. So hopefully you got the vibe of the trailer, I guess, more so than what they're actually saying.
Which is good. I mean, we've got a big following in South Korea, so I mean they're going to understand that quite well.
Yeah, I guess
It's
so.
a massive following.
My point,
I've been looking at the ratings for Trailer Island recently, and the following in Korea is fantastic.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, what I should say about we speak English, so films that aren't in English, is I've always found that I get about 20 minutes in, or maybe not even 20 minutes, and I forget that it's not in English because my brain gets so used to reading the subtitles, but also looking at the pictures. And a good one for this is Downfall, the German film. Is I always forget that they're speaking German. I always think back and think, no, they were speaking English, weren't they? And then you watch it and it's in a different language. And I kind of feel the same way about this. I kind of, after about 20 minutes, I don't know, my brain just got tricked, I guess, or drawn in by it, and I sort of stopped separating. It's like, yeah, I can just I know what's going on.
But do you usually put subtitles on just for regular films? Is this a byproduct of
Occasionally,
that, maybe?
I mean, if the film's in American, then I will put the subtitles on so I can convert it into English.
Fair.
But yeah, no, I guess so. Maybe I'm used to
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I don't have any real issue with subtitled films, foreign films in general. Like it's because I'm always, even for English films, I've got subtitles on, and so processing the information of this film in particular, it wasn't a super big hurdle, and it was
Sure.
like in terms of concentration level as well. And that concentration level was probably helped by the fact that I thought the film was so good.
Yeah, I think you're a bit of a fanboy of this one, Steve. What we haven't explained yet is
No, we haven't.
the premise.
And I
of
think,
the
Steve,
film.
I think you're absolutely bursting at the seams.
I'll
So
do it.
please
I'll do
give
it.
us the premise of this film.
So it actually follows the Kim family, who are a poor family in South Korea, and they're out of work looking for money. And the son sort of comes up with this scheme where he's going to go tutor a really, really rich girl. And throughout the film, the rest of the family members of the Kim family start to ingratiate themselves into the Park family, the wealthy family, as workers themselves. And shenanigans ensue.
Oh, don't they just? Don't they just? Yeah, a lot happened. There's a lot that happens in this film.
There's, yeah.
I feel like a bit like last week where I was so happy with Eurovision Fire Saga. This week, I'm not really sure where I
Okay.
stand on the film.
I can tell you where I stand, and so this is the first time I've unfortunately had to watch this in 2 sittings. So obviously, when a film is made, it is designed to be watched in one sitting. That is how it's paced, how it's edited, and how it's been scripted, etc., etc. So I feel like perhaps what I'm about to say maybe is somewhat skewed by the fact I had to watch it in two sittings. But I found the first hour to be quite slow, and I found myself. And I watched this on a streaming service as well. I did find myself, and again, I don't know if it's because I was a bit time sensitive because I had to go off and do something, and I had to keep checking my watch. But I did find myself drawn to going, is something going to happen? Is this going to pick up at any point? Because at the moment, I haven't seen anything that's actually really drawn. I understand what's going on, but I haven't been drawn in by it yet.
I have a theory, and I just want to ask you guys a question first because it does follow on from that theory. What was the opinion of the movie Get Out of both of you?
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it?
I have seen Get Out. I found it. The issue with my experience with Get Out is I had it hyped up to me by so many people saying it's one of the best films you ever see. And then when I saw it, I thought, well, there was nothing really all that spectacular in it. So I found it quite underwhelming.
Okay.
Which I think that what Matt just said then has an effect on how I felt about this film as well, because it won 4 Oscars and people were like, this film was amazing, you have to see it. So I feel like, again, I'm not responsible for my actions in that the world had delivered me an opinion about this film that I was told I was supposed to have. So you have these expectations and I don't feel like it delivered that for me.
I have to admit, I am surprised that this film won the Oscar over 1917.
Oh.
Because, and I don't want to jump to my conclusions too early in the podcast, obviously, but I have to admit there are no characters in this film that I like. And that's because they've been written that way. Like all the characters all have their own ulterior motives and they're all quite conniving. And but I did get to the end of it. And this film's about, 2 hours, 10 minutes, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I got to the end of it thinking at no point over the two and a bit hours was I ever on side with anyone. And I never sympathized with any of the characters. I think initially there's a maid character at the house who's been there for a long time. And because this family are trying to weasel their way in, they end up getting her fired. And I did feel sorry for her. But then the film progresses, and I won't ruin the ending because I think
it's a great twist.
It is a great twist. It didn't work on me, but it's clearly worked on so many other people, so I won't ruin it. But in the end, I just hated all the characters and thought, well, you all kind of got what you deserved in the end.
I think that's unfortunately the point of the film.
But that's the thing, is I don't think I understand it. And I think that's the issue, is I think that's like you say, it's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's called Parasite, and the whole discussion with this movie at the moment is who in this film is the parasite? Is it the wealthy family who are obviously taking advantage of poor people to do demeaning work? Or is it the poor family being a parasitic influence on the wealthy family? And that's where a lot of the discussion about this film really comes from.
But I think my issue there is that when you make a film and you're trying to say so many things about society, is you need to allow the audience in, though. You need to allow the audience to at least care about someone. Mm-hmm. And at no point in this film did I ever go, I was never invested in any of the characters. I was very neutral throughout the entire film, going, well, I don't really care what happens to any of them. And I feel like that's a disservice to the characters and to the film.
I have the same feeling about the characters, but I understand it at a different angle. And it does come back to Get Out. And for me, Get Out was always a movie about anxiety. You know, it was always a thriller, and it always felt like a horror as well. And I sort of got the vibes from this film in the second half of the film. I was like, I really don't know what's going to happen, and that I feel like the movie's been designed that way, and I appreciate it for it. I'm freaking out. I don't know what's going to happen with these characters, and quite frankly, the characters aren't likable. And that's sort of like, well, they're not likable, so are they going to get killed off?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that sort of happen throughout the film where you sort of question, like, you're like, oh, is that really appropriate?
Yeah.
In the role that you're performing in this household, even though you're sort of, they're faking it in a way. It's like they're really taking advantage of the situation more than you feel like is appropriate
Yeah.
for the amount that they are taking advantage of the situation. I don't know. It was something. Maybe the film's done exactly what it's meant to do, where I just feel sort of like,
Well, yeah, and I think Steve, and I did mention this to you, Steve, before we recorded this, as I sort of said to you, I'm fairly sure I'm not aware of what this film was trying to do, and I do accept that. But what I should point out is something I did really like about the film, and it didn't happen until about an hour in. It took me an hour until I started actually sort of going, oh, this is kind of enjoyable now. Is there's this wonderful sequence where the wealthy family have gone off, so they've suddenly gone, wow, we've got the house to ourselves now. Let's enjoy it, and they get all the food out, and they all drink the alcohol and stuff. And like you say, Alex, you're going, well, that's just completely inappropriate. You know, you're being trusted to look after this place. Now, as soon as you're left alone, you completely lose it, really. But there's this wonderful sequence where it was very predictable. I saw it coming, but the wealthy family come home early from the camping trip, and they've got 8 minutes to get everything neat and tidy. And I thought that sequence, for the next 45 minutes even, the aftermath of that was awesome. That was really well done.
That half an hour is terrified me.
Yeah.
For like, it's not just like the family coming home, but there's like little character moments between the family that I was like, oh, what's the father character gonna do? Oh, he's getting really like riled up, and then it switches to the Park family coming home, and how are they going to deal with this? And that half an hour of film is just like so well shot, and then cut together. It probably does exemplify why it did win the Best Picture, in my mind at least.
Yeah, I think for me, it took an hour before it interested me. That's far too long for me to be sitting in a film before I suddenly go, oh, that's quite cool. But having said that, again, and I can't stress the point enough, is I don't think I got it. I don't think it worked on me. And I think the issue is with me not being receptive to it more than the film itself, I think.
Do you think hype played a factor into that?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, when a film wins as many awards as it has, and you sort of miss it in its initial release, so you're now only watching it because so many people have said this is the best film, you know, oh, it's incredible. That does place a lot of expectations on the film, and you can't help but have that in the back of your mind thinking this film is going to be the best thing since Return of the King, you know, and that is a big bar to sort of live up to, because this film isn't trying to be Return of the King, it's its own thing. Yeah, I would say the expectations, similar to Get Out. I mean, I think all the expectations I had for Get Out unfortunately ruined it for me, and it just didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex, did the hype ruin it?
I think it did. Yeah, a little bit for me. I didn't. But then again, I didn't know what I was expecting either. I knew what the film was going to be about. How everything is shot, the cinematography. This thing is loaded with VFX.
Oh, yeah.
If you did not know, this thing is like chockers.
Really?
With visual
that
effects.
does surprise me, because I would have thought, okay, they've clearly got this expensive house, which looks really nice, and they've shot the majority of the film there. I would have thought it was fairly done in camera kind of thing.
It's mostly set pieces.
Wow.
And
But the house was designed meticulously for this.
It was,
Yeah, and it does look
designed
good. It looks really good.
specifically for this.
Yeah. Talking about expectations, I should mention, I watched the trailer, and the trailer did portray to me the kind of moments of dark comedy, or at least unexpected comedy in sort of situations you don't expect it. But one joke that was in the trailer that actually really sold me on the film that then wasn't in the film is when the daughter is posing as a art therapist.
Art therapist, yeah.
And there's this bit in the trailer where they're looking at this piece of art that this boy's done, and she's going, "Oh, it's this abstract piece. Is it a self-portrait?" And there's this pause. No, it's a monkey.
Oh, that's in the film.
Is that in the film? Because
Yeah.
I missed that then.
I love that bit.
Because that was what sold me on the film, and then I was like, where was it? Because I don't remember seeing it in the movie.
It's, I think,
Well, it's in the first hour.
Well, there you go.
So
The first hour that I didn't like, it was, okay, there you go. All right, well, I missed that. I must have been asleep maybe, because that first hour is so long. Maybe I was just asleep.
it's sort of like, I also got this like heist planning setup sort of feel to that first hour, which I really, really enjoyed. So like when he's like when he's talking to the mother about the son's art ability, I was like, this has got all the hallmarks of like Danny Ocean trying to set up a casino heist. That's what I was feeling at the same time.
Okay.
And then they had like this brilliant montage where they're trying to get the housekeeper let go. Not
Actually,
fired.
that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing. That was the sort of sequence that made me go, okay, well, this is the first time I felt anything for one of these characters. I felt for the housekeeper. That was quite well done, yeah.
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 I just appreciate the fact that I didn't know what was going to happen. Like every 15 minutes, I sort of had to keep questioning the movie as to where is this going, because as they're sort of setting up this sort of invasion of the Kim family to the Park family, like they're getting all these details of the Park family, like their social security number, all that sort of, and I'm thinking, are they gonna try and like murder the family and try and take their place?
Actually, I did think that as well.
I did have that tension the whole way along, not knowing what
Yep.
the plan was, and it kind of made me wonder: do they actually have a long-term plan?
Which is a running theme throughout
So
the
yeah,
movie.
having a plan is a running theme throughout the film.
When you get to the last 15, 20 minutes of the film, it feels like the biggest pimple's been popped. There's this huge relief of, okay, things have come, for lack of a better term, full circle. And
Well, they
the
definitely come to a head, don't they?
yeah, and the film does resolve itself. You sort of wonder, how is it going to do this? And they do. There is an answer. Whether or not it's satisfactory to what you were hoping it would be.
It's also a bit of an Inception ending as well.
Yeah, I did like the way that was
You've
done.
got to question it a little bit.
What a problem that I found is that looking at people online doing their whole film school video about what you missed in this film, blah, 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 it really sort of, I think they were trying to say more about the film than there really was to say. And I don't think the film is trying to say a lot. It's trying to say a few simple things about society, perhaps more about a society we don't understand. People are getting carried away thinking there's more about this film than there actually is.
It's not Blade Runner.
No, you've got to look at it, the story that it is telling. And the story is not hiding anything from you. The ending is maybe a little bit ambiguous and you can sort of make up your own choices about it. But there was nothing, I feel like, that was hidden from me in this.
I definitely feel like it's one of the more overanalyzed films of the last 5 to 10 years.
And I think that's why it was so overhyped to me. I'd seen so many people analysing this movie. I thought, well, there must be so much in this movie. And then, like you say, Alex, it is quite succinct, really. It's a fairly succinct film. And I think that's why I came away from it going, okay, but did I miss something? Was there something in this, a whole subplot or theme that I just did not pick up on?
Yeah, I was worried that I missed something too.
Yeah.
I was like, is there something that what am I not getting? What am I not understanding about this film? Steve, what am I not understanding about this? Steve, help us.
I think we got it. I think this is just a film that, like any of Christopher Nolan's films or like the Wolverine, it's just something that a lot of film nerds are really, really excited to talk about at the moment. And I think, for me at least, it's because this film feels like it's was enjoyed to be made. Like Bong Joon-ho was like, I'm really, really excited to be on set every day. I'm putting all my creative effort into it, and I was getting the results that I was feeling that. It just felt like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, that's how it felt.
Yeah, the director's work. Because the other film I've seen of his is Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
And that is a very creative film, but
Yeah.
it's also incredibly tight and really well put together.
Another film I haven't seen yet.
I would recommend it. It's very good.
Maybe I will.
But that's the thing is, I kind of thought Snowpiercer was saying a similar thing to this movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because there's
was,
a lot of class difference in that film as well as this one. And I thought Snowpiercer sort of said it a bit better. But maybe that is in the guise of an action movie.
I thought Snowpiercer probably said those things about like class difference more generally, and I think that Parasite, having not lived in South Korea, I'm going to leap to an assumption here that Parasite's probably saying more about South Korean society than just a general world society.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
So are you living in anyone's basement at the moment?
They're probably listening to this. Like I said, we're really big in South Korea right now, and I've got people to hide from.
So we're recording this in someone's basement.
Yeah, that's why it sounds a little bit more echoey tonight at the moment.
We really commit to these, the themes and everything.
There are basements on this island. Are we on an island from Lost?
I did find the ending not out of the blue, but I did have a moment where I was watching it unfold. And I'm not going to ruin the ending. If anyone's listening, you don't have to stop listening. I'm not going to just blurt it out. But I did get about halfway through it going, what on earth is happening? I was thinking, where did this come from? And then thinking about it, like, well, no, I guess it's logical and it's designed this way. I had a book going, wait, what? Wait, did that just happen? It was quite, I don't know, shocking, I guess.
What did you guys think about the twist?
If it's the same one you're thinking of, I think it is. I quite liked it.
Okay.
I don't know that I felt like there was a twist.
Okay.
To me, like everything sort of happened as it happened, and that's what the story was. There wasn't any, like I said before, I don't feel like the film hid anything from me.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't feel like a twist to me. It felt like a logical, if not practical, conclusion to the story.
When that reveal came along, I thought the twist was going to be more dramatic than what it actually was. I thought it set up something different to what it actually was. It's hard to talk about without giving it away, and I don't want to give it away. But it sort of set it up, and I went, oh, cool, is that what's happened? Like, that's quite a game changer. And then when I realized what it actually was, I thought, oh, that's less exciting.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I would recommend people go and see it, I think.
Yeah, it is available on Stan currently.
Yeah.
You can definitely buy it on Blu-ray, and it's definitely a movie I would buy on Blu-ray, just cinematography wise.
Steve, did you get to watch it on the island cinema, or did you have to watch it in your cave?
I had to watch my cave.
Yeah, same.
But it's something I would go to the cinema to actually
I wonder
watch.
if the experience would have been different.
I'm wondering if I have a feeling I would have enjoyed it more at the cinema.
Oh, cinema's always better.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I think a lot of the anxiety I was feeling throughout was probably boosted by the fact that I was watching it alone.
This is not a comfortable film. I think
Yeah.
it's not designed to. Unlike the Eurovision film, a very comfortable film.
Yeah.
This one is the complete opposite of
yeah.
that. There's no singing, or there's very little singing, but it's not enjoyable, and you will not feel comforted at all throughout the entire film.
Anything else?
For me, no. I think I've gushed.
What I would say, the depiction of poverty, or at least South Korean poverty in this film, made me go, wow, I'm watching this in my house by myself on my TV, and I'm watching. And I know it's a work of fiction and everything, but obviously it's based on, I'm assuming, real living conditions. It's a real place, and I guess it made me, and maybe this is part of what the film is designed to do, is it made me appreciate what I've got. Mm-hmm. I suppose, and not to take things for granted, because I think it's fair to say that certain characters in this film take a fair bit for granted.
Well, I mean, I suppose one of the final questions I'll pose to both of you is, who's the parasite? Is it the Park family, the wealthy family, or is it the Kim family, the poverty-stricken family? Because I reckon I would have said it as the Kim family. It's just
I would. I mentioned that. Well, we've mentioned it a few times where the Park family do go away, and the Kim family immediately just drink all the booze. Mm-hmm. And eat all the food. I'm thinking, these people have provided. You were poor and jobless. You now have jobs. The whole family has jobs, but you're sort of not. You're putting that at jeopardy by being rude and drinking all the booze.
But is the Park family the parasite because they don't even notice that they've done that?
Well, that's true.
They make a huge mess and they don't even.
Yeah.
It's sort of who's taking from who? They on both sides they're taking from each other in their own different ways, and I suppose the poorer family is more visual in that sense for us as the audience.
Well, they are the main characters,
Yeah, they're the characters that we're following. So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, for a while there, I thought, is this a creature film? Is there literally some form
creature
of
in the basement or something?
Yeah, creature in the basement that's going to attack everyone.
Hey, that could very easily have happened, couldn't it, really?
Yeah, and I guess at a stretch, maybe that is kind of what...
Well, yeah.
I don't know. But what I am curious, and it seems almost inevitable, to see what a Western remake of this would look like.
A Western
Oh,
remake.
probably awful.
Oh,
They
you
should
mean
leave it
like
alone.
actually England? I thought you meant Cowboys. I was like, hot damn.
No!
Next season of Westworld.
Like,
Why,
No, not
why
ca-
would anyone want that?
what? I'm just going to start writing it right now.
no, I mean like
Howdy,
a Western,
y'all. I'm here to tutor your daughter.
like a gunslinging.
Oh, no. Wow.
Would anyone like some preserves?
What in damnation?
I need someone to groom my horse. No, not a Wild West remake of this film. A Western, like a Hollywood version, like an American version or an Australian version of this film. That would actually, I think, be really interesting to see how they manage that class difference between
Yeah.
levels of.
I haven't seen
society.
anything in the works for that yet, but I'm sure people are probably having.
Or I almost
Conversations.
guarantee that we'll get a Hollywood version of this in the next
Yeah.
5 years.
I think what I would say about this film, and it's similar to Snowpiercer, is, as we've already mentioned, is deliberately much more general about the entire world. But I think the things that are touched on in Parasite, which is very much about South Korean culture, or the class difference in South Korea rather, is it still, you can still apply that to our
absolutely.
culture.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't necessarily need a Western remake. It still works for us as an audience, which is clearly why it's done so well.
Yeah.
the last time I saw that happen was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yes, even though they did end up making a American reboot anyway.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what I mean is
I see, right.
the American version of it, where I did almost enjoyed both versions
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
that
too.
they
Yeah.
made.
I mean, David Fincher did the American one, so it's not like, they just got anyone. It is actually a fairly decent film.
Yeah, so I am curious to see how that is translated, because inevitably films that get this much attention end up being remade in an American landscape.
Yeah.
That's right. That means we
Surely.
can do a follow-up episode. That'd be great.
And then we can do a follow-up where we hit double digits in our episodes.
Yay.
Well, I think it's maybe a good time to give how we felt about Parasite. Steve, because you are probably more at one with this film, you can go last, have the final say
yeah,
on this.
sure. That's fair.
I'll go first this week. And I never give my ratings first.
Yeah.
I always
What are we
defer-
rating it out of first? We could do like a tropical river parasite.
Oh, what,
Oh,
I
wait,
was
let me
thinking
just go
like,
to Google really quick.
what about like a washed up rum bottle?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
How many washed up rum bottles?
Where's the room? Yeah.
Okay, so out of 5 washed up rum bottles, what do I feel about Parasite? It's an interesting film. I don't know. You can't sit down and go, all right, I feel like just relaxing and watching a film tonight. What I'm going to watch. You can't watch this. But then again, that's not what the film was trying to be. Practically, it's fantastic. The story's fantastic. It irked me. And I feel like maybe, as Matt said previously, there's something I just didn't get about the film. There's something I didn't, in my mind, quite unlock what the film was trying to say.
Would you go back to it?
I'd watch it with someone.
Okay.
Not because it's, scary or, it is a thriller, but
It's a date movie. That's why.
I wouldn't quite exactly call it a date film either. But I wouldn't actively search out to watch it by myself because I feel like it is a film that will create conversation. At the end of
Yeah.
it, you do talk to the person that you watched it with.
Even if that conversation is just, what on earth did I just watch?
Yeah, and that was, I watched it today with my wife, and we both sort of just like, what,
Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction as well.
And on all of that, I'm going to say 4. But I feel like I could give it a 3.
Give it a 3.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to.
Don't prompt him. Let him say the number he wants to say.
Fine, I'll go 3.5. How about that? I'll say 3.5. And that's not to say that the acting is bad or the film. I feel like there was a message that just wasn't super clear to me, and it took a really long time to do anything. And maybe that's exactly what it was supposed to do. I don't know. But for me, as me personally, I'd say let's go 3.5.
Okay. I think I'm very much in the same boat. There's no mistake here. This film is exceptionally well made. It's acted well, written well, shot well, directed well. It is a really well made film. Apart from the fact that it's a 2 and a bit hour movie, but nothing happens for an hour. For me, at least. Like for me, it's a 2 and a bit hour movie, but really it's just an hour movie. And that first hour to me really put me offside, to the point where even though that second half of the film is legitimately for me much more exciting and much better, I was kind of already out, because the first hour was just like, what is going to happen? Can I have a character here that I can at least get behind and root for? Because for me, if I don't like any of the characters, then I'm just sort of sitting here going, I hate all of you, when will this end? And maybe that's the point, but I don't know, it didn't work for me. If that's the point, not for me, clearly worked for other people, but for me, I would not sit down and watch this again. I'm going to give it a 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Now, I've never given a 2 before. I feel quite villainous.
I loved this film. I was very worried about sitting down for a second time and watching it. I was like, I was worried for all the same reasons you were. Like, I was wondering the pace maybe would get to me. Sat down, watched it a second time, and still like really, really, I really, really liked it. I really liked it. I think it's got one major hurdle though, and that is accessibility, because I think a lot of foreign language films is going to put people off. Reading subtitles is not for everyone. It simply isn't. Like it gets distracting, and maybe the story is just a little hard to access as well. But for me, it's 5 bottles of rum.
Yeah.
Easy.
Actually, did I give Taylor Swift 2? I think I did. I might have to retract that statement.
Sure, you can, if you like. If that's...
Can't remember. I'll have to go back. If that's the case, maybe I can adjust my Taylor Swift and give that a 1.5.
You can't retroactively change previous episodes.
Right.
You still have time to change your score for this episode if you want.
For me, this is still a 2, because that first half just bored me, unfortunately.
Okay.
If this film, I could not watch... You know how sometimes they dub stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there is an option to watch this film in English if you wanted to, and I would hate to do that.
Yeah,
Well, I think
the
we've gotta
subtitles didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, subtitles didn't take anything
yeah.
away from me at all.
I think now we have to get it dubbed by probably like Sam Elliott and Clint Eastwood, and just get that real western cowboy vibe to it now.
Nicolas Cage would be good.
Oh, imagine in a Hollywood remake and Nicolas Cage was one of the characters.
You know, if they do one, he'll probably be in it.
Yeah, who would he be?
It'd be the Mr.
housekeeper.
Kim, the dad.
No, he'd be the housekeeper, wouldn't he?
He'd be the housekeeper.
That's a solid 10.5.
Again, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's 2 10.5.
That's two very different films and 2 very similar scores.
I have enjoyed that we've all had very different opinions over the last couple of films. I think it's been great.
So yeah, that's worked out. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, it really is.
So I guess it certainly shows that we've all got different views on how we feel about films, which is good. So yeah, it's been another episode of the Trailer Island podcast. You can find us on our website, trailerisland.com.au. Yep. You can send us an email to contact@trailerisland.com.au. Visit us on Facebook, give us a review. Actually, that's what I'm going to ask you all to do this week, is head to our Facebook page and throw us a review.
That'd be lovely.
Tell us who the real Parasite was.
Hey, that would help me out. Please tell me how I'm wrong.
You can absolutely comment and contact us via that page as well, because that's what we want. We want you to interact with us and let us know what you think, what you'd like us to talk about, because we'd love to hear what you have to say. And you can also visit us on Twitter, which is
Island Trailer.
Yeah.
Because we haven't found that guy yet.
Who's got the actual Trailer Island tag.
He's out there somewhere.
We will catch him.
I'll find you.
Yes. I've been your host, Alex. I've been joined by
Matthew.
And Steve.
And this has been the Trailer Island podcast. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Ta-ta.
This is a Narrative Network podcast.